Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter sectors of the Indian economy. When we talk about economy is the sum total of productive activities in the country. So we can divide the economy on different bases. For example, if we talk about a class, we can divide the same set of children on different bases. For example, if I have to pick up the children for basketball team, the criteria would be different. If I have to pick it for the quiz, the criteria would be different. So in the similar manner, if we talk about economy, the criteria which we decide to categorize it, to classify it could be different. The first criteria is nature of activity. What kind of activity is the person engaged into? For example, if the activity is based on nature, is it related to processing or is it related to service provision? So that decides what kind of activity we are involved into. On the basis of that, we have three sectors: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary is the sector which is dependent on nature. Primary means basic, which provide base to other sectors. So primary sector is that sector which is dependent on natural factors mostly. It's not completely dependent on natural factors, but mostly it is dependent on natural factors. For example, if we take the example of crop cultivation, it is dependent on air, water, sunlight, seeds. These all are natural factors. If we talk about mining, in mining we simply take out the materials which are there in Earth's crust. We are not producing anything new. If we talk about dairy farming, we depend on the natural process or the biological process of milk production in cattle. So that comes under primary activities. The second is secondary. Now secondary activities are those activities which are related to processing, where we take a natural product, we convert into more useful, more productive product, and we follow certain processes, and that is called secondary sector. And this processing happens in the factories or industries. That's why it is also known as industrial sector. And the third is tertiary. When we talk about tertiary sector, it is not producing any good like primary or secondary. It is a sector which is into provision of services, banking, finance, transportation, storage. These all come under tertiary sector. They are not producing anything, but without them, these two sectors, primary and secondary, cannot produce anything. They won't be able to get raw materials. The secondary sector will not be able to get raw materials from the primary sectors. The finished products of secondary will not reach the market. So they are very important. And if we talk about tertiary sector, it further has two kinds of people. One, which directly help in the production like transportation, banking, storage, insurance, etc. On the other hand, we have people who are providing services which do not help in the production directly. For example, the services of teacher, the services of maid are at home, the services of driver, they are not contributing anything to the production directly, but their services are important. So the first category is clear. The next is on the basis of employment conditions or working conditions. There are two categories, organized and unorganized sector. Organized sector is that sector which is registered with the government. When you are registered, it has to follow rules and regulations. There are many laws which protect the workers' rights, which provide them benefits, additional facilities which are covered by various laws. So organized sector has to go by that. For example, pension is given, gratuity is given, paid holidays are given. The people are paid for overtime in organized sector. They get paid holidays. Working conditions are good. Safe and clean drinking water is available. Then the medical facilities are available. The women, they get maternity leave. All this is there in organized sector. But if we talk about unorganized sector, all these facilities and implementation of laws are missing. They do not give any paid holiday or overtime charges. They have no fixed working hours. Wages are very low, and workers can be thrown out of the job anytime. That means there is no job security. Third is on the basis of ownership. If we talk about ownership, on the basis of that, there are two categories: private and public sector. Public sector are those enterprises which are owned by government, because it is run with the help of money which has been provided by the public in forms of taxes. Whereas private sector is owned by few individuals or one individual. If we talk about public sector, the main motive of the public sector is welfare, whereas private sector main motive is profit. On the other hand, the private sector is mostly, or the private sector services are mostly used by the rich people, whereas millions of poor, they depend on public sector. So if we discuss about the broad categorization of this chapter, we categorize the economy on three different bases. One, nature of activity, primary, secondary, tertiary. Two, on the basis of employment conditions, organized and unorganized. Three, on the basis of ownership, private and public. That's all for today. Thank you.